If two little footprints appeared and then vanished, what would you believe happened next? Imagine finding a pink blanket in 3 different spots. Would you chalk it up to chaos or conspiracy? Could a hidden trail camera hold the single clue that shatters every theory you've heard? If you've ever asked yourself any of those questions, you're about to see why the disappearance of 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan has left investigators and an entire community desperate for answers. Before we proceed further, please hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an update on the disappearance of Lily, 6, and Jack, 4, Sullivan. Their story has captured attention across Canada and beyond, and every view, every share, and every tip brings us one step closer to the answers their family so desperately needs. The RCMP Major Crime Unit summoned search teams, volunteers, bloodhounds, drones, and helicopters to comb 5.5 square kilometers of dense woodlands and wetlands. All they recovered that first day was a fragment of Lily's pink blanket and 2 small boot prints. As the days stretched into weeks and global attention swelled around this rural community, every piece of evidence became precious and painfully scarce. Late in May, new hope arrived in the form of trail camera footage from properties beyond the Sullivan yard. One neighbor, Melissa Scott, received a knock on her door from Mounties seeking recordings from 7 of her game cameras covering April 27th through May 3rd. She handed over hours of video showing her wooded acreage, even though it lay kilometers from the family home. Mounties also requested footage from local landowners along utility corridors and disused rail lines. Their goal: to map every route 2 small children might have taken if they left the immediate yard. The footage, still under seal by RCMP, is said to show fleeting shapes and movements that investigators believe could correspond to Lily's pink Barbie top or Jack's blue dinosaur boots. Detectives described it as a major new lead, though they caution against premature conclusions. The material is not yet public, but in the coming weeks it may inform new ground searches or digital sweeps, expanding the search perimeter into areas previously considered low priority. This development marks a shift in investigative strategy. In the first critical week, the focus was on the dense woods and the immediate property. Ground teams logged thousands of hours, swirling through underbrush and checking every fallen log. Kits of forensic tools were deployed to recover trace fibers, soil particles, and possible DNA. When that yielded only a few faint traces, police turned to the digital domain. More than 5,000 video files from doorbell cameras, dash cams, and convenience store CCTV were cataloged and reviewed. At the same time, call logs and cell tower data were cross-referenced to build a timeline of everyone on and near Gaylord Road that morning. Public tips rolled in by the hundreds, some credible, others evidently stray. A school bus driver reported spotting 2 small figures near Pipeline Trail. A passing cyclist claimed to have seen a pink blur at dawn. Each tip was logged, assigned to an investigator, and followed up. Over 800 distinct tasks now populate the RCMP's case management system, each representing a potential clue. Investigators have also granted polygraph tests to several family members and close associates, though they affirm that no one is officially considered a suspect. Still, the stepfather's demeanor and statements came under public scrutiny when he described running toward nearby cabins, only to find them empty. His social media posts featured punctuation that some online commentators labeled suspicious, semicolons in place of commas, abrupt sentence fragments. Yet the RCMP insists these stylistic choices are not evidence of wrongdoing. The pink blanket itself remains central to the case. Initially reported as found in a trash bin behind the RV, it was later described in official statements as hanging over a railing and then caught in a low tree branch. Now, forensic scientists have it in a specialized lab, testing for latent fingerprints, trace DNA, and any foreign fibers that might link it to another location or individual. While those results are pending, detectives believe confirming whose blanket it is and establishing a clear chain of custody could illuminate exactly when and where it was dropped. Parallel to the formal investigation, the community's grassroots response has been relentless. Candlelit vigils that began in the churchyard have multiplied, with neighbors keeping soft lanterns burning through the night. High school students formed a volunteer search group, patrolling trails at dawn and dusk. Local businesses plastered windows with Lily and Jack's smiling faces, alongside posters urging your tip matters and help bring them home. At one gathering, a retired school principal organized lecture for Clues evenings, where experts in forensic science, wilderness tracking, and digital mapping offered free briefings on how everyday citizens could aid the search. On June 11th, police announced that they had reviewed more than 50 interviews, some accompanied by polygraph tests. One of those interviews involved the children's maternal grandmother, who reported that CPS had been called to the home previously and that Jack bore unexplained bruises on his arms and legs. RCMP confirmed they had incorporated any CPS records into their investigation, but have so far declined to comment publicly on those specific claims. Whether those bruises resulted from rough play, farm equipment, or something more sinister remains a sensitive question, one that has underscored the urgency of unearthing all possible leads. As summer deepens, the woods around Lansdowne Station have grown thick with green. This seasonal growth presents challenges. Patches that were once open are now choked with underbrush, concealing the ground below. In response, search and rescue instructors brought in specialized teams to teach volunteers how to read subtle signs. Broken moss patterns, displaced pine needles, and compacted leaf litter that could indicate a child-sized passage. Drone pilots adjusted their flight patterns to lower altitudes, mapping the forest floor in high resolution. Thermal imaging flights during dawn's cool hours sought heat signatures that might betray a human presence. In late July, Mounties held a press briefing to update the public. Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon thanked volunteers and urged locals to check any personal footage on dashcams, doorbell cameras, even smartphones, for the days around May 2nd. He reiterated that the case was still open, that every tip was being followed, and that trail camera footage could change everything. Your memory could be what solves this, he said. Lily and Jack's parents have continued to keep a watchful vigil. Daniel and Malia post video updates, not to feed speculation but to express gratitude and to remind viewers that their children remain missing. They share photos of Lily's unicorn stuffed toy on the porch and Jack's dinosaur boots by the trailer door, symbols of two lives suddenly suspended. Their raw emotion reminds every viewer that this is more than a news story. It is an ongoing family tragedy. Despite the pain, the Sullivan family has twice refused to let the case slip from public consciousness. In July, they organized a fundraiser for search party expenses, fuel, refreshments, equipment rentals, raising over $20,000 in a single weekend. Local artisans donated artwork for silent auctions, paintings of the children's swing set under starlight, lino cuts of the forest path lined with candles. Every dollar raised funded new search grids and provided sustenance for volunteers who might otherwise have returned home at day's end. Meanwhile, experts in criminal behavior and missing persons investigations have weighed in publicly. A former RCMP major crimes detective observed that leveraging trail cam footage from beyond the immediate search zone is a hallmark of deliberate, evidence-based investigation. It suggests that police have widened their scope to include indirect pathways and waterway corridors children might have followed. His commentary has appeared in national outlets, adding credibility to the notion that this case is evolving from a simple missing child search into a multifaceted criminal inquiry. In early August, a volunteer drone pilot named Alyssa discovered a faint rectangle of color beneath sheltering vines, too small to identify from above, but promising enough to dispatch a 4-person search team. They discovered only a forgotten fruit wrapper, but the fact that new discoveries were still possible months after the disappearance buoyed morale. Amid these ongoing efforts, the RCMP announced the establishment of a dedicated liaison unit to communicate with the Sullivan family. A family liaison officer now provides daily updates, coordinates volunteer-led searches with official patrols, and offers emotional support resources. This move came after complaints that the family had felt left out of the loop and that media speculation had become overwhelming. On August 15th, the RCMP confirmed they had reviewed all available CPS records, spoken with dozens of community members, and retested forensic samples as new methods became available. They emphasized that no scenario was ruled out, from an accidental wandering into the woods to potential abduction or other foul play. They still had not named any suspects or persons of interest, but encouraged anyone with fresh information to come forward. Despite the frustration of officially reaching no-fame conclusions, the community's solidarity has never wavered. Candlelit gatherings continue, often drawing people who have never met the Sullivan family but feel compelled to honor the missing children. Neighborhood watch organizations keep eyes on properties with updated briefing materials. Local churches ring bells on the hour as a ritual dedication to keeping Lily and Jack in mind. Here in our channel, we will continue to provide thorough, respectful updates as they become available. We will analyze every statement, revisit every clue, and keep the family's story in the public view until the day those children are found. If you have any information, no matter how minor, please contact the RCMP Major Crime Unit at 902-896-5060 or Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. Your tip could be the one that changes everything. Every second counts. Every share multiplies the chances that someone, somewhere, will recognize a detail, a fleeting glimpse in the woods, a piece of pink fabric in the corner of a frame, or two small footsteps in the dawn. Lily and Jack deserve to come home. Let's keep searching, keep sharing, and never let this story go cold.